The business, motherfucker.
Bringing the business. We back, baby. We back. New setup. We got the family here for the interview. What's up, B?
What's going on, man? Like you say, season 2. We gave y'all a lot of stuff last season, so we kicking this one off right, man. We got a lot of dope stuff coming this season, and look, we started off with a dope session ahead of today.
So we're gonna talk about just family. This is what this is, right? Got my niece here, my 2 nephews. All 3 of them play collegiate basketball, and we just want to pick their brains on their experience. And it's only right we start out with the first lady right here. You know, we started it all off, Brittanny Johnson. So
hold on, Nick. Before we get started, let them know where they can find us at, man.
Oh, we everywhere now. All right, we everywhere. When we first got on, we was just strictly on YouTube, a little Facebook. Now we got TikTok, Instagram. I got a little Twitch thing. I'm gonna start doing the little live stream for the Twitch. So and we everywhere now. So just check us out, Bringing the Business. Yeah.
Subscribe to the pages, hit the like buttons on the pages, share it, everything. So check us out.
Yeah. So kind of pick. I want to say this. I don't know if I ever told you this, but you the reason why I even started to like women's basketball. Because like, I mean, to be real, because like watching you grow up and playing, I just seen how you played, and like it was just a style of play that I was playing. She should be playing like that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, hey, whatever. And then ever since then, it was just like I tell him all the time, like, man, we got to get into this women's game. You know what I'm saying?
What was that style you speaking of?
That Chicago grit. You know what I'm saying? Like if she wanted a bucket, she gonna get that motherfucker, bro.
What's your primary position?
I would say a combo guard, but I played a lot of PG growing up, so.
Okay. Yeah, man. And I remember when she played, the first time she played, we was watching her play, and every time she'd go down the court, she'd look up at some of the stands, like, man, play the game, you know what I'm saying? But then after that, man, just night and day, man. And I believe this is my thought. Maybe I'm impartial because I am family, but I think that had it not been for a certain circumstance, injury and stuff like that in WNBA, that's how I feel though. You know what I'm saying? Based off of what I've seen, you know, and just how she played the game in a way where it was like, it was just rough, dude. It was like, you know what I mean? Like nobody could like get in her head, stop her, or like that. It was just one of those type of games where it was like, shit, she was like one of the dudes out there, really. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's how it seemed to me. You know what I'm saying? Because just the style of play that she was. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't no finesse like that, man. If she wanted to get to the hole, she get to that motherfucker, bro. You know what I'm saying? I wish you would have seen her play, but I've seen her play, so that's how I know. Like, you know.
What age did you start playing?
Probably about 4th grade. I took it a little bit more serious and just fell in love with it from the first time I started playing.
Did it come easy to you?
Not at first, but you know, I think we all kind of had the same first coach, and our dad is a great coach.
Right, I saw Dad was. I saw it in one of y'all profiles. Dad coached at Morgan Park. Dad coached at Morgan Park, right?
Yeah. Okay. So he has a way of kind of bringing that out of you. I think we all had that in our game for sure.
Well, I see you were an athlete, ran track as well.
A little bit, but I didn't know that.
I've done my homework.
I was actually a high jumper, so yeah.
That's an athletic event.
Before I blew up my knee the first time, I thought I had a shot at being really good at high jump. But you know, basketball's my first love.
Dude, no, she averaged 5 steals a game.
But you
in
know,
high school.
And I saw
5 steals a game.
I saw the defensive side, but one part that I saw, like looking through the stats and everything, that like you rebounded pretty well.
Yeah, I was always this height since like 4th grade, so rebounding was a big deal.
I saw that you had some big rebounding games in college as well as high school.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I have a daughter. I'm just getting her started in softball and little track and everything like that. So I definitely want you to meet her before you leave. Because and her and my niece. And basketball is what I want to introduce her to. One is 12, and the other is 10.
It's a perfect age.
So definitely want to introduce that. But another thing, you're a Pisces like me.
Yeah.
So that's
When's your birthday?
March 9th.
Okay.
You're
15.
March 9th. Hey, no, but see, I get it mixed up because my dad's birthday is March 13th, so I always think yours is the same. So that's, I mean, oh well.
You know what? My first love for the women's game came from. Are you familiar with Tasha Byers?
A little bit.
Okay.
She's from Chicago?
She's from Memphis,
Okay.
but played at DePaul.
Yeah.
Right. And then went on to play with LA. And had that controversial situation with she caught a rape charge around the same time Kobe did.
Yeah.
And they got rid of her basically.
Oh,
And didn't do Kobe. So she had a whole, you know what I'm saying, interview about that situation, how her situation was handled differently than Kobe's.
It's a throwback name.
Yeah. And she grew up like I grew up with her cousins. That's how she ended up playing for DePaul.
Okay.
Her cousins lived there. She lived in Memphis, would come up every summer and everything. But she was dope. She was a gritty, rebounding type of player. So
Yeah.
look her up, Natasha Byers. Really, yeah. Got retired at DePaul and everything. Jersey and everything.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, check her story out. Like you can literally like Google her name, and that whole little story that I'm talking about will come up.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Brittany, what's the most memorable moment for you as a collegiate athlete? Like, what would you say would be like the most memorable thing?
I mean, my first year we went to the tournament, to the Sweet 16, and we ended up knocking off the #1 team in the tournament, which was Ohio State. It was just crazy upset. We were the 9th seed, and they were the #1, and hands down, best moment ever.
Okay.
They had anybody at Ohio State?
They did, not like a pro, but their best player was 6'7". Her name was Jessica Davenport, and they had actually beat us in overtime earlier in the year. So when the bracket came out, we were like, we're going to Sweet 16. Like we knew we had them. So
Boston College, right?
mm-hmm.
That's major basketball.
ACC, yeah.
That's major basketball. Like I tell people anyway that college sports is major period on the D3 level, on the whatever. So, but that level, yeah, that's major. like straight up, that's major.
And now I was looking at like some of the little stat line that you had. Like you had good games and good teams. Like you know what I'm saying, like Maryland. You know, so like some good teams. Like you ain't played like you know like the little preseason teams you kill or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like nah, like look it up. Like legit good ass teams. She had some good ass games, bro. So like yeah, I was looking at that. Like really kind of going through all of you all's stats, just kind of researching you all, kind of brought me back and brought to light a lot of stuff that you all did. You know, I mean, of course, you know, I know y'all played, you know, but I wasn't able to see every game, anything like that. But to kind of like look at the stat line, like I didn't know about a lot of stuff with Terrence, which we'll get to in a minute. But like just looking through it, like my research kind of brought to light a lot of stuff that I didn't even really know. I just saw them like, man, they played some good ass basketball, but you don't know the stats and like the awards and stuff like that they got, the accolades they got, you know. So
how did it, Brittany? How did it feel going to Fenwick, right?
Yeah.
Was that still McGetty's school?
Honestly, I didn't really know who he was until he came back a few times. Like they didn't really talk about him as much as you think they probably should have.
Okay.
Like at the time, like Fenwick was like a big girls basketball school. Like our boys team was just kind of okay. So that was like the draw for me. It's like I wanted to go play for like the best team in the state.
Because even before McGetty, was it Michael Finley? Or was he the one of the providers?
I think he went to
yeah.
There's somebody else that was at the Fenwick though. But that was like the only two that I know that went major. But he was a big, because he graduated the same year I did in high school. He was a big deal.
Oh, Corey,
Yeah, you know he went to Duke. You know,
Yeah.
he came off the bench at Duke and still went in the draft in the lottery.
Good.
I was playing 1 year. He came out after his freshman year and went in the lottery. But he had a man body though.
Oh yeah.
He was like 6'8".
Yeah.
Like was built already though.
Yeah, so that's another throwback name.
Showing my age a little bit.
That's another throwback name.
Man, it's crazy. A lot of them guys, man, like I said, I graduated high school in '98. A lot of them guys have been through the league and gone.
Oh yeah. Like
Damn, that's how you know you old when you seeing whole careers.
Yeah. Q Rich gone.
Yeah.
I mean, D Miles, he didn't really last that long, but I mean, he gone.
Like you say, Q, all them my age.
Yeah.
Q, Quentin Richardson, Bobby Simmons from Simeon,
Yeah.
like I say, Mike McGetty, all of them came out same year. D. Rich came out, I think, a year later. But yeah, all them guys gone.
Yeah.
They had some good careers when they were
Yeah.
with the Clippers, so
Yeah.
that's why most people know them.
Yeah.
They was a lot of fun. They didn't win much.
No,
I'm not dissing because they were that good that they was still like must see TV.
Yeah.
But they just didn't win a lot, but they was that entertaining. I say.
Yeah, every time they scored, I remember they would do
Yeah.
like that, and that was like a big thing that we kind of
in the headbands.
Yeah.
Even though I ain't had no hair, I still wanted to put a little headband on.
and we all would mimic it. So
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything else, man?
No, we keep going. We'll come back to Brittanny.
Yeah, so moving on to Terrence. Like Terrence, it's so funny because I think his high school career mimicked his college career, right? So he first year he went to Seton, right?
Yeah.
Then he moved on to St. Rita. Well, he did kill at St. Rita. And then he ended up finally going to North Lawndale. Did y'all win the chip?
We won city, took third in
Okay,
state.
won city.
Yeah.
So I mean, interesting high school career that kind of mimicked it going on to college because he started out with Illinois State.
Yep.
Then he went to Green Bay, Wisconsin. But then he ended his collegiate career at Oklahoma City.
Well, look though, we're not gonna just, and I know you're coming back to it,
Yeah.
but we ain't gonna just breeze past that high school
Oh,
resume.
the high school resume.
Man, I see all public league.
It's impressive.
I see top 28 point guard from ESPN. I see a couple other places had you ranked a little higher than that, or a little 12. I saw 12 somewhere, and
City Hoops.
and somewhere else. So all public league is impressive. I'm a public league guy, man. I went to junior. I'm a public league. I'm a public league fanatic. So I mean, I'm very impressed. I know how tough public league basketball is.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And before you speak on that, I'm a Redbird too.
Okay.
I went to Illinois State.
So Redbird, yes
Yeah.
sir.
So yeah. Speak on your high school career a little bit before we move on to college.
It was so long ago. I feel like.
You ain't that old.
I'm
You ain't that
not. But no, I started my freshman year at Seton Academy. So my dad coached there in Kent Stevenson. So it was right when the school transitioned from all girl to co-ed. So it was a lot of opportunity there. I knew I would play varsity as a freshman. I got recruited to go to other high schools, but I just knew I wouldn't have that same type of experience and gain that same type of experience that I would get at Seton with any other school because they had to play because it wasn't too much talent there. So my first couple of years, I would say the biggest thing I struggled with was just strength. Coming from 8th grade, being 14 and playing, men that's 18, like, no matter how skilled you are, and the game was a little different then. You can really stand people up.
Yeah.
Now it's you touch somebody and it's a foul.
You're a
Like,
point guard.
I was a point combo too, and I really had to focus on like getting stronger because I could score the ball, but me getting past people, they would stand me up because I wasn't the size I was today. So I really put a lot of emphasis on the weight room, hitting the bench, eating more, just getting stronger. And then as sophomore year came and I was still at Seton, I could see the strength kind of turning over a little bit. But then when I actually went to St. Rita, I was actually supposed to be playing varsity at that time.
Why did you transfer?
I just thought it was a better opportunity to go over there at St. Rita.
They came looking for you, or you?
Yeah, the coaches recruited me over there. And the team was supposed to be slightly different than what we had it. they were supposed to get a couple guys into the school. It didn't pan out that way, but it actually worked out for me because it was really my show.
So what was your high school years?
So I went 2005 to 2009.
Okay.
High school.
So did you ever play against Jerome Randall?
I did when he was at Hills. He was
tough, wasn't
super exciting to watch, man, and play against too, man. He had quick speed. I mean, dude can pull up on a dime. He was he was a tough guard.
Him and my little brother played since like 7th grade together.
Okay.
And I remember being in college, and I played basketball, recreation, you know what I'm saying? I was decent. So I remember my mama telling me one day, I was in school, Ryan, your brother got a boy on his team. I'm in college.
Yeah.
He in 7th grade, he'll beat you. like he this tall. Crazy as hell. Man, I came home and watched that boy play in 7th grade. He was tough. Man, he was tough. So that's why I say I know I was around your years.
Yeah, I've been playing ball with Jerome though since I was younger in Biddy ball. We all played.
Okay, he's still overseas.
Small fry. Yeah, he overseas now, but I've been knowing him since I've been first picked up the ball in 4th grade, and he been good ever since I known him.
Yeah,
so.
I think I got to him with him like it had to be 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, man, that dude, he could definitely play some ball for sure. And I mean, he went to own the Cal, played a little bit in the league, so.
He actually broke a lot of scoring records in Cal.
Yeah.
Like especially like
I believe he's
three-point
the
records.
all-time scorer.
I believe so
Yeah,
too.
Cal.
And I know he's like the all-time 3-point shooter and everything on there. And like Cal was one of the only big schools that offered him like that. And he went over there and tore it up over there. Cause he only what'd you say, legit 5'8", 5'9", maybe?
I don't even know if that, but it really don't matter. Dude can really score the ball. Man, you can't stay in front of him, you know what I mean? And maybe some of those bigger schools overlooked him because of that high piece. But
Cause I think they won 2 state titles. Him and Nate Benoit.
yeah, JaVale McGee was actually over there too.
You are?
Yeah. They had a nice team. We played it when I was at Reed NC. They was low.
I thought JaVale went to. No, that's at the day went to Perspective. Right?
Yeah.
Damn, man, you just taught me something. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had a talented team. I played them all through the Catholic League, so they beat up on us quite a lot.
So what do you think the difference between the Catholic League and the public league?
I think with the public league here in the city, you get more respect when you do well. Catholic league, you can do well, but they don't give you your flowers. But when you do it in a public league, I just feel like they feel like it's tougher basketball. You got to play through fouls. You got to play in a little bit tougher crowd, and when you can do it in a public league, I feel like even throughout the state, you get more credibility. So, and I noticed that like when I had good stats at St. Rita, they was like, oh yeah, you okay. But then once I actually did it in the public league at North Lawndale, we was beating the Cranes and the who else out west? Marshall, Farragut. When I was going in those type of crowds, putting up numbers, they like, oh no, he actually legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about after you left high school, Illinois State? What was that experience? Because you went there for 1 year. What was that experience at Illinois State?
So it was actually good. I actually played with Osiris Eldridge. I don't know if y'all know him.
Yeah.
Really good player out of Phillips. Man, and that was the first time I actually seen someone that I probably, as a freshman, I knew I just couldn't stay in front of. Like when I was at North Lawndale, I felt like I could guard anybody, etc. But it was some open gym sessions with him. I'm picking him up full court. He'd get the ball out on a break fast. He'd body me, then come through the lane, do a 360 dunk. And they're like, "No, TJ, you gotta switch off him."
He made it to the league.
He never made it to the league. He played overseas a little bit. I just think he didn't get the opportunity that he was supposed to at that school. But man, that dude was. I done played some open gym and some practices with him. When he locked in, it was literally like wasn't nothing you could do. So, man, and I knew the type of work he was putting in too. And I figured out like what I needed to do in terms of getting to that next step, putting that type of effort in terms of getting up extra shots. going extra at the weight room. That dude put in the work, and that's why he was a first team all Valley player. So.
Yeah, I State, man. I State. You know what? They played some pretty good competition over there though.
Yeah, we had the Northern Iowas in there, Wichita State, which had a good little run when they kept going to the tournament.
Who came from Wichita State?
Fred Van Fleet.
Who?
Fred Van Fleet, that plays with the Toronto Raptors.
Austin Reed started off there too.
Somebody else, maybe it is Austin Reed that I'm thinking about, but somebody. Yeah, I know some good ball played there too.
Yeah. So it was definitely a really good conference to play in, mid-major plus. Crowds were exciting, playing in front of, thousands of people. And, I'm coming from a little high school gym that's we're crowded in there to now I'm playing in arenas and coliseums. I'm like, the butterflies are playing.
So for you and Brigham, for the question for all three of you all, do the crowd make a difference?
Yeah. I would say from high school to college, because it's like 5 people behind to the court to now in college, it's 100 people doing crazy stuff.
So can you feel it though? Can you feel the crowd?
So I had examples of experience that I felt the crowd, but I was kind of different. Once the game kind of started, I was more just locked in. The crowd really didn't affect me too much.
So what about the people that use the use the bubble, the NBA bubble as an excuse or whatever, as far as the crowd, opposed to not having the crowd or whatever? So do you think the crowd pumps you up? Or you remember how they say a lot of people shooting that ball crazy in the NBA bubble?
Yeah.
And somebody because they ain't had the nerves of the crowd.
I think it's some truth to that, to a certain degree. I know if you hit a shot and the crowd goes crazy, you get a lot more confidence for sure. Rather than you just shoot a shot and then it's like, oh, good shot, your teammates, go down. That's a different.
What about the flip side of it? Booing. If you're not at home.
No, you feel that. You air ball, you're gonna be a little tight on the next shot. I ain't gonna lie to you. You're gonna be a little tight, and they waiting for you too. You know what I mean? But
so what Russ is going through being booed at home is even harder.
It's crazy because when he was at Oklahoma City, I felt like I felt like that was his bread and butter. Like him and D Rose was that's what they was known for. Coming full speed, pull up on a dime, and being able to make that consistently. Now him not making that, I don't
From
know
a
what
basketball
it is.
player standpoint, how do you lose that? And not just, a lot of people tell you, you have these knee injuries, and I know we'll get to y'all. I know y'all had some knee injuries, right? So a lot of people say you lose because your jump shot is in your legs, correct?
That's all form work. I think that's.
I think it's confidence.
Yeah.
Once you don't have that confidence anymore, it changes your form.
Well, what made him lose the confidence? And I'm speaking on you go from an 80-something% free throw shooter your whole life to 60-something.
It's a Russ fan now, so.
Yeah, but but I'm talking hoopers, so I want to know.
Basketball is very mental, more than anything else. So when you don't have that edge anymore, it's hard to get it back. That's work he has to do off the court.
But the free throws left when he was still in Oklahoma City being loved.
I think it's mental. I don't think it has anything to do with the crowd. Because I know, when I go to NBA games and you hear, the things that they say, I don't think I could have dealt with that. People talking about your family, about who you are as a person and they don't even know you. But I think as NBA players, they kind of cut that off. Or else they wouldn't be able to survive the way they do. So I don't think it has anything to do with people hating on him. I think it's just him.
So just go from a game standpoint. What is it? How do you lose what you just said? The mid range where you stop, pull up. How do you lose how do your free throw percentage drop almost 20 points? So you know what I'm saying? From 680 something to 60, 66.
I also think it's a rhythm thing, and it was something different from Russ. He never been in a position that he wasn't leading the team in usage rate. So, LeBron's on the team, he's going to have the ball in his hand more. And Russ never really shined in a role like that.
So I agree with
I
that.
agree with that too. And that's one of the things that I think. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with that.
Like, I don't think, and I gotta give some guys credits that I argue with or whatever. They told me the door wouldn't fit. But I'm gonna tell you what I thought coming in the door. When LeBron getting older, I said Russ and AD can, you know what I'm saying, play within the game and then turn that ball over to LeBron fourth quarter, let LeBron, you know what I'm saying, kind of close games and coast them out.
And Bron kind of said that he would do that, but he can't.
They in each other way, to be honest.
Yeah, he can't do that though.
Like they in each other way. They kind of, you know, obviously Bron is better, but they kind of do the same thing. They both need the ball, and you can't turn Russ into a spot up shooter.
Oh, you definitely can't do that.
You know, so it's like I don't know. I don't know.
And I don't know, even maybe it's, you know, I know a lot of these NBA players, they get hurt and they don't disclose all the injuries. I don't know if it's an elbow or a shoulder injury that maybe Russ had too that might have, you know, affected his shot too. I don't know.
He's still trying to dunk that thing. What's wrong with that motherfucker?
Yeah, but
Dunking
dunking and form, you know, it
Yeah,
could be
sure.
a slight little tweak of something. I don't know, cause
I don't know. I always thought it was in your legs though. Y'all telling me different.
I mean, because it's like free throws, you don't jump. It's
Yeah, I know
all
free
it's
throw.
form. You know what I mean?
Because I always said one of the reasons that Steph is able to do what he's able to do is because Steph is not guarding the other team's best guard. Clay was always guarding. So you keeping Steph's legs fresh. You know, and I always said the team that he struggled with the most had two guards, where you couldn't have him with Clay.
That's true.
But I'm a little against that because at the same time, Steph is such in good shape because offensively he's running all day. So defensively, you're not going to really wear him down too much because he runs so much anyway. So he already has, like, you know, such a good stamina.
But why is he so bad defensively then?
Well,
Strength and
wait a
size.
minute. So let's say why was he bad? Because actually, these past playoffs, he actually was pretty damn good.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, go back and watch the game.
I don't think so.
'Cause he
I
actually
don't think
plays
Steph
good.
really guarded. And they don't really
Wait, who did they play in the finals?
expose.
Who did they play in the finals?
Boston.
So you're trying to
You gotta
say?
guard Marcus Smart.
So you're trying to say he didn't help out on nothing? He didn't.
Yeah, you know, like Allen Iverson played the passing lanes, right? So guys like that get a lot of steals, but they not really guarding nobody.
Okay. Go back and look at the game.
I wouldn't say he's a bad defender, but in that starting five with Clay, Wiggins, he's the worst defender. But that's not really saying he's a
He's
bad
always been
defender.
the worst defender on that team.
I mean, those are high level defenders, though.
And honestly, in the NBA, what they do now is all
And they just pick on the worst. Yeah.
They do mismatch. So Steph was really that bad, it'd be a pick on him every time, and it'd be an ISO.
I really don't think he's a bad defender. And
Me neither.
defense is not about just on ball. He's a really good help defender. He's really good off the ball. He's really good when he switches and in rotation. So like he reads the game well defensively. So I think he's actually one of their better defenders.
I just think size and strength makes people like
Yeah.
pick on him.
Now Jordan,
That's something you
that's a
can't-
different subject.
He's a bad defender.
That dude plays Ole defense.
But you know what? And we can go back and research this later. Steph plays a lot of old defense. I actually see them make them switches and leave him on the island. And you can, and this is my thing, with guys like Steph, Russ, because Russ used to play defense. Contrary to what people think, like Russ used to play
Oh, yeah,
defense.
for sure.
Russ used to hound that ball. But guys like them now, that's cat quick on the offensive end, but your feet is like mud on the defensive end. Like how is, even if you're not the greatest defender, how is people blowing by you on
It's a mentality, though. That's all. Defense is effort. You know what I'm saying? Just like people want to score the ball, that's why they score the ball. People who want to be good defenders, they want to be good defenders. It's an effort thing. It's a want to.
I agree.
You know what I mean? That's all that's about.
So how was it in Oklahoma City? Did y'all have any contact with the Thunder, or were you going to games, or?
Yeah, actually, so one of my players was actually from Cameroon, where Serge Ibaka was from, and in some type of exchange type of organization, they actually got hooked up together. So we was actually going to Serge's crib, and we actually seen Kerry Hilson, all that stuff. So it was crazy.
I can talk. Well, I asked that question because he did transfer to Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma City.
Oh, Oklahoma City. I'm sorry. Oklahoma City Stars. And I wanted to go to that Oklahoma City arena so bad. It just seemed like that arena was just crazy.
Yeah, it was actually huge. So, and it's a little different because coming from Division I ball, you know what I mean, I'm used to playing in front of, you know, thousands of crowds. So now it was more of like a packed high school crowd. But the competition level, I was surprised was still there because it was all Division I transfers. So like, literally everybody from my conference was transferring from like North Texas, all schools kind of in that like South region. Who else? Tulsa, and it was like every night, like you was going against somebody that was coming at your head trying to get 30. So it was. I still had that competition level, so I loved it.
Okay, and we got the baby brother out the group over here.
Yeah. Hey, everybody who I told, and nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. Not even y'all parents believed me. When I said, I remember when he was younger, when I said, he gonna get the tallest one. how you figure that out? Like, I guarantee you, I said about 6'3", 6'4". Man, he ain't gonna get that tall. I said, okay.
Well, you had 6'3", right?
Yep.
6'3".
So I was right. I should have put money on that shit. I was right.
So you went to Morgan Park?
EMP.
Yes, sir.
Morgan Park 2 state chips?
Yes, sir.
How was that?
It was great. The first time around, it was I think we broke through. It was the first one since like 1969, 71. So even like those players had reached out to us and thanked us and things of that nature. But it was a good accomplishment. But we also felt like we were one of the best teams in the state. So like even winning our state championship, it didn't mean as much to us because we were also in 3A. So we were like a level lower than 4A.
You could have got them before they got?
Yeah, we felt like we were one of the best teams in the state. So we had lost in the championship to Whitney Young in the city championship. So that's when they had Jaleel Okafor, Paul White, Miles Reynolds, things of that nature. You know, all of those people went high major. Jaleel obviously been the #1 player every year until he got to the NBA. So
what happened in the NBA? We're gonna come back to the story, but since you mentioned him, you played against. What happened to Jaleel? In your opinion?
I think he came in right when the NBA started transitioning more into an outside for like bigs and things of that nature. Like, you know, a lot of bigs, they gotta come and switch or play high pick and roll. Jaleel really want to sit in the paint. He's not gonna get out there and things of that nature. And I mean, I'm sad to. I don't really want to say it, but he also came. When he came in the year, I think after that, Joel Embiid came.
Right, because he did
And I
not feel
felt
it, right?
Joel was just a better player than him, and he kind of went past him.
So you don't think he had a motor?
No, I feel like he had a motor.
He was skilled to me. Like I'm surprised that he didn't do well.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna do real well.
And it's funny because it was like when they both. So when he was coming out of high school, him and Cliff Alexander was right behind him. And so many people like was telling me like, man, Cliff gonna have a better NBA career than Ja. I'm like, I don't see it because Ja's still way more skilled than Cliff. Like it's so much. It's like a ceiling.
What was Cliff about 6'9"?
6'10",
Yeah.
but you know he had like the Dwight Howard shoulder, so he wasn't being too small was never like a problem for him. But yeah, I just feel like he was skillful enough to play, but he also had to. You know, the league was just transitioning. It's not too many teams that's just going to throw it in to big and just let them score. Besides, if you're one of the best.
So you played the same era with wasn't Jalen Bronson like y'all age?
Yeah. So my last my 17U, my last year with the Mac Urban Fire, Jalen, that was his first year coming over. He was 16 playing up with us, and even like our first tournament NY to LA, he was dominating. He was 16 and probably one of the best players in the tournament.
And in a way, like I'm a Jalen Bronson fan now, because I'm gonna tell you something. I pride myself on finding diamonds in the rough. Man. You know what I'm saying? That's the skill of mine, man.
Scallop.
You know what I'm saying? But I remember, you know how you just around high school tournament time or around, you know what I'm saying, playoff time, just stumbled up on the game. Stevenson against somebody his junior year. And I think that's the year they lost. In the state.
Yeah, I think that's when he scored 50 points?
Yeah, but they lost. And I'm like, man, who the hell is this fucker? Yeah, and I remember his dad. Remember his dad was the Bulls. So I remember his dad. So I'm like, oh, that's his son. So I followed him the next year. You know what I'm saying? And watched him all the way through. So when he went to Villanova, I started telling people, man, watch Shorty, man. And he won what, 3 there? Or 2? I know he won at least 2. No, I'm saying in Villanova.
Yeah, he won 2. No.
They might have won 3. Did they win 2? I know he won his freshman year.
I know he won 2.
He won his freshman year, coming in the door, and then he won 1. I know he at least won 2.
Yeah, he at least won 2. I know he only did 3 years because he graduated in 3 years, and he won leaving out. So I was like, this is the best time for him to go because they just won. So I'm not sure. I think it's 2.
They didn't win 3 in a row.
So
no, I know he won 3 in a row.
They couldn't have.
Sophomore, junior year, I think those are 2. Because they won back to back almost.
No, they didn't win back to back. I know he won his freshman year. He came in the door and won.
Yeah, so he won his freshman year.
He wasn't the man.
That's Ryan Archer.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't the man then, but
and
then he won when he was the man.
Okay.
So yeah,
that sounded about right.
So did you play any of them guys?
Yeah. So. Well, actually, I was going to say I played Jalen his senior year in the Proviso West tournament. We played in the championship, and I actually got ejected out of that game. It was funny. But, so I guess, like, it was going through the game, and it was like a close game, and one of their players was like, you know, getting physical with me. I'm getting physical back. We, like, threw each other on the ground. And, you know, when you kind of playing at the Proviso West, Jalen, he's like, you know, the star on the team. He's bigger stars than anybody we have. They kind of had more bias to, you know, their team letting them win, and somehow I got ejected.
Somehow.
It wasn't a fight, somehow.
No, because we didn't throw any punches. We just kind of threw each other to the ground, and once we got up, they separated us. And
They only kicked you out?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he got. Maybe
no, I
he did.
think he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, even like Jalen here, like Terry said the story about Osiris, how he won the best open gym players he's seen. Jalen's probably the best open gym player I've seen. Because even with he was playing with Mac Urban Fire, he's from Lincolnshire. And you know, that's like an hour and a half away. So he's not.
He went to Stevenson.
Yeah. So he's not coming to like, our fire practice was at Morgan Park. So he's not coming, you know, to practice just to practice. He's mostly coming to tournaments. But he came to one practice, and he really just demolished everybody. Like, it was ridiculous.
What do you think about him taking that $100 million from New York?
I'm happy for him. Like, and it's crazy because like I played with him. He's younger than me, and I never like little bro'd him. But it's just crazy that he's making $400 million in 4 years. He's gonna make $25 million a year. Like, that's crazy. I never thought he could get that, but. I did think he was a pro because he definitely had the skill and the talent.
So what do y'all think about that as far as guys going to get that money? Or like he could have stayed in Dallas for a lesser ticket or go to New York for that money?
I think when you're first starting in the league, anything can happen, injuries and all that type of stuff. So you need to go get your max money.
Go get that tournament. You're worried about winning.
Yeah. Once you kind of get, now I got some security, I got $100 million, I can take care of myself and my family for the rest of our life. Now let me worry about winning, getting all the accolades and all that other stuff, you know what I mean? And the endorsements, because now I'm on a winning team. But you got to go get your money because at any point in time you can get hurt.
That payday ain't guaranteed.
Just like DeMarcus Cousins.
I was just going to say that. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Hey, stop talking about old people that they.
I can tell.
Or even Dennis Schroeder, like, you know, LA gave him, you know, guaranteed money. He got on himself. Now he's a free agent, you know.
Man, he fucked himself on that one.
You gotta take the money, man, and then worry about that other stuff. Miles, what's the guy that just Miles Bridges?
Yeah.
Man, when you
got
got that,
he played himself though. That's the one in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said if he don't make it, he gonna be a full-time rapper.
I don't know if it's fake news or whatever that is, but I mean,
Look at a head injury. That's what you got.
man, you gonna get somebody offers you some big money, you gotta take it, and then after that, you worry about winning and all that other stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a job.
Yeah.
The Knicks also made a lot of sense for him because you know his dad is an assistant coach there. I think they have a house in like some
Yeah, they
place
do.
in New York,
Like Jersey or something.
and it's right close to Villanova, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's like a something he's not.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What about Dame?
What you think about that? I want to know what y'all think about that.
Hold on, hold that thought, but we want to finish on you.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to then we'll get to stuff like that. See, we got some interesting stuff coming up. How you get to Wake Forest?
So
Again, that's major basketball.
So I started off, it's funny because I think, yeah, they both was there for me. So when I first came into college, I was actually going to go to prep school. And I had already like made my decision up because, you know, some Division I's had came and fell through. So I felt like the prep school would do a good year for me and I could get ready to, you know, then go to the next level. But at the last minute, we had took a family vacation. I think my sister was coaching in Florida, and my dad called my brother and told him that the prep school wasn't taking me. And then I remember at that time, like I just started crying, stuff like that, because it was like in August. And you know, like I'm playing with some of my teammates that was in high school, and they're coming back from their college because you supposed to do summer sessions in school, so they're coming back, and I'm like, at this point, I have nowhere to go. So that was probably one of my lowest points in my life. So I think 2 weeks after that, my dad just kept, you know, working the phone or things of that nature, and he was able to get me to Northern Arizona. So we was like, we definitely got to take it, and even if it doesn't work out, then I could at least transfer from the Division I. So there I redshirted my first year, used it to try to get stronger. I could have possibly played, but I knew they had a loaded team, and it would probably just do me better to get stronger and have a year under my belt playing. So that first year I used it great. We actually won the CIT. It's like a league right below the NIT.
Okay.
So we was able to win that. We was playing in April, I think only like 6 teams play in April, you know, just with the tournaments and stuff like that. We won the most games that in school history that year. And then next year I just kind of, you know, took the year before to try to like, you know, blossom, just, you know, start basically, you know, killing things of that nature. So I had a good freshman year.
Point guard too?
I was a combo.
Combo guard.
All the combo guards.
Definitely my redshirt freshman year, I was more combo. So I averaged about 9 points as a redshirt freshman. I had a pretty good year. And then my second year, I was really just mentally ready to take off. Like I was working out at 6 a.m. in the summer, like every day with one of my coaches. And then the second to last day of our summer session, I tore my ACL.
Damn.
So, yeah, cried again.
Did you cry for anything, Twitter?
The first time.
You tore your ACL twice?
Yeah,
Same knee?
different knee.
Like, what kind of movement, both of y'all? Like,
The first one was a dirty play. I was going up for a layup, and the girl literally just went under me. And as I was like flipping in the air, because I ended up landing on my head, I just felt my knee like buckle. So when I came back down on it, like it just ripped. And at that moment, like it was the most intense pain I ever felt. Like, and then the second time, I was going up to block a shot, came down wrong, was tired. Like we had just lifted. You know, in college you gotta lift, you gotta do open gym, you got skill workouts. So we had a full day, and I just literally jumped, came down, and tore my ACL.
you knew it was.
The second time I didn't, I thought maybe it was just like a meniscus because it didn't hurt. I could walk on it. The first one I couldn't do anything on it, but so like a week later when I found out, I was pretty shocked.
What about you? What was you?
So mine, it was I was like one of my point guard. He threw me an outlet pass, and I tried to catch up to it, and I kind of like trying to stop before it went out of bounds. I hyperextended my knee, and I think at that point I kind of tweaked it or loosened it. But you know, our trainer, he looked at my knee, and you know, he said if I'm feeling good, I can go back out there. You know, obviously I want to play. We actually playing a real game, kind of like scrimmage, because this is the last couple of days. I went back out there. The first time going down, I just made a cut, like just turning direction, playing defense, and just get it out.
Felt it?
Yeah. Like it's a sharp pain, but it's like I feel like it's more pain than knowing that you probably did something.
And it's funny you say that because both of my knees, I had tweaked them like right before I tore them. But it wasn't serious, like, and I feel like I hear a lot of people say that, like, oh, I think I did something, but they kept playing because I think you like partially tear it, and then it's compromised, so then, you know, you actually tear it.
So I had this conversation with somebody about Derrick Rose the other day, and the difference between, and I know he had a series of injuries, but the difference between him not being able to come back like he was, but Zach LaVine able to come back from the ACL. Like, do you think it's the style of play?
But he also tore it like again. Did Derrick Rose?
I think he ended up the
Meniscus
was next, right?
Yeah, meniscus was next.
Was it the same knee?
I don't think.
I don't think it's the
it
same
was
knee.
either.
Nah, it wasn't the same
But you know, it took him a long time to even come back from the ACL. Some guys come back fast or something. Remember in football, Adrian Peterson, remember he came right back.
knee. Yeah, that's a different sport though. I don't know. For some reason, I just think it's a different sport. It's a difference in the way they move when you got to do basketball. Because he jumping on and all. I mean, Adrian Peterson just cutting and running. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, what you do, the chemical makeup of different bodies. You know what I'm saying? It makes a difference also.
I mean, you 100% lose your explosion. Like, I was a very explosive player. I could jump really high. I was very quick. I never got that back. Like, even, you know, it took me, and maybe Torry can answer this too, at least a year and a half to just feel like normal, like myself. And I still wasn't 100%.
Confidence?
Well, because you just don't trust it. Like, you can't, and I think it takes almost like a month and a half just for you to be able to walk again normal. So it's a mental injury, but it changes you, for sure, your game. I think it helps you become a smarter player. Like, I became a way smarter player because I didn't have that same explosiveness. So I had to learn how to, you know, proper jab step. I had to get better footwork. I see that in D Rose a lot. Like, he lost that part of his game, but he gained so much in other parts of his game that he was able to make up for it and still be in the NBA.
You know who else was like that? Remember early, I'm not sure if it was an ACL, but it was something major in his knee. Chris Paul. When he first came to the league, he tore something or messed something up in his knee. Remember? Y'all remember how explosive Chris Paul used to be?
He always hurt.
Yeah, I'm straight on Chris Paul too. We'll get on it. But y'all don't remember how explosive he used to be though? Like playing for
Well, he came out of Wake Forest.
Yeah. Man, look at how explosive he was at Wake Forest and them first years in with the what was it, the Hornets.
Yeah, it was on.
Man, but he did something, and now that's why he's so crafty and smart with it, I guess. But like you say, he always hurt.
But what's crazy though too, if you look up his stats, it's not like eye popping. Like, I think he averaged like 14 points and like 8 assists as a sophomore and went third in the draft. But they also was like the #1 team in the nation for a good part of the season.
But I mean, you still can't doubt him. He's still a good talent though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you would think it would be more eye popping.
Who else was on that team with him?
They had Justin Gray. I don't know if any of y'all know.
They had a big guy too, didn't
Because Jeff Teague wasn't there. And he wasn't there with Aminu Afro. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there with I can't think his name right now.
Had to be #1 for some reason.
Right.
they? It's the name we're missing. They had a big, for sure. I think he played in the league.
I remember it
I mean,
a little bit, but it's not like vivid.
If you walk down that hallway, it's a lot of NBA jerseys. So
Who's the man? Timmy still the man now?
Yeah, his picture is everywhere. Cause he also won what's the award for like All-American?
The player of the year, did he?
Yeah.
Did he win the
John
player of the year?
Williams.
Yeah, something like that. And they won the championship that year too. So and I think they won they won the championship twice, I believe.
How does that feel, man, to know you played at a place where guys like that play?
It was crazy. So, alright, so basically Northern Arizona, to fast forward, my last year there, I had a great year. I averaged 12 points, I averaged about 15 points in conference, and I hit the portal because I was tired of Northern Arizona being a flag staff. I didn't like it.
Right.
That too, I was on some bad teams. So once I went in the transfer portal, I was actually going to go to Northern Illinois. But me and my father, we kind of had our hopes up high for me to go high major. That was still in the back of my head. So once I got that call from one of their assistant coaches, and I took the visit, it was crazy. Like, me and my mom, we stayed at the Marriott downtown. We went to a 5-star meal. They brought me like big Doritos to have in the hotel room with like a big bag of Skittles. It's small, but like like having all that, like I never experienced something like that because I never took a visit.
Okay.
So like this was really kind of like in a way my first like big time visit, and like just seeing all that stuff and. Like even tuition, they showing numbers of how like the average person pays $70,000 to go to the school and things of that nature. Like it was just like when I got to the office and Coach Manning had Danny Manning when he offered me, I like.
That was the head coach?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know how cold he was?
Yeah. And he'll remind you too.
Danny Manning was nice, Kansas.
Yeah.
Went to Kansas.
Yeah.
Danny Manning was nice.
They have a meal at Kansas that's like named the Danny Manning Burger or something like that.
Okay. I thought he would do better in the league. He was decent in the league.
Yeah,
he like
good.
Danny Manning was nice. But I
He
thought
had some good years for the Clippers, but yeah, I think he had bad knees too. Like his knees is terrible.
What is he legit? What, 16?
I think he's more 7
Yeah.
He do look taller.
Man, I thought it is.
In person.
I think his knees kind of make him shoot, cause he got like now his knees is terrible. Like his shoes kind of like mess up because he walks on like the inside of his shoes. Like it's bad.
Man.
So I think he's like legit like
And then,
at least 6'11".
you got to think, going back to them days, they didn't have the technology
Yeah.
to repair this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know you're coaching now, so I'm pretty sure you're around the trainers some kind of way. Does the technology look different from when you played to now?
For sure. I mean, I tore my ACL for the first time, I think, like 20 years ago. So when people do it now, there's so many different ways that they can come back a lot quicker. I have scars, terrible scars that they don't have anymore. So it's just different. I mean, it's good because I would never want anybody to have to deal with like the stuff we had to deal with back
Used to
then.
be career ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, ACL.
It was over with. It was done.
Achilles too.
It was done.
Like I think Dominique Wilkins was like one of the only ones that came back from major Achilles tear. Because that's why Isaiah Thomas had to lead the game.
Yeah.
I think
DeMarcus
Achilles
Cousins.
might be the
Yeah,
hardest
Shaq,
injury.
even though
Yeah.
Shaq was older, but
Yeah.
Shaq that's what ended Shaq. Kobe, it didn't end Kobe, but all
Yeah,
it
it
changed.
Yeah.
He changed the fuck out of his game, though, but at the end of it.
So for KD to come back from the Achilles and play, you know what I'm saying, at the level he is, but he don't really rely on as much athleticism as some of the other guys. Though, right?
Yeah.
And I think and it's funny too, because I feel like a lot of people that tear their Achilles are bigger, like heavier set people. So
Yeah.
then it's harder for them to get back because they're heavy. KD. And so
This probably goes without saying too, but it's just some really bad doctors too. Like our team doctor at DC, like messed my knee up. And I know a lot of people have this
I don't like
the
trainers.
same story.
I legit
so.
don't like trainers, college trainers.
I hate all of them too.
Oh,
Well,
y'all
I say
like
right.
me
You
on
right now.
something I never heard of it.
Me
Okay.
neither, man.
I don't feel like they're for you. I feel like they do what's best for the team, and they get a lot of pressure on like the coach to make sure the player is ready. They're not really player friendly or does what's best for the player.
I know a couple people when I was at Green Bay. We were playing and we had injuries, stress fractures. One of my best friends, Jarvis, he was actually playing with a stress fracture, and the team doctor was like, "Oh no, he's fine. We're running tests, everything looks good." So he plays on it, then he gets in some major pain. He gets an MRI. He's playing on a stress fracture. I almost could have took his career away from him. Same thing with me. I'm having a bad ankle injury, and I'm like hobbling a little bit, and then he was like, "Team doctor's like, no, you should be all fine. Just wrap it up. You'll be good to go." And I'm like, I see what you're saying, but I can tell you what real pain is. I'm like, I'm hobbling for a reason. But I think it goes to say a lot of these trainers, they have to keep a job. So if the coach was like, man, I need him to be over there, and if it's not a major break or something like that, then they be like, oh well, he can just play through pain. And it's like, no, like I'm legit hurting. You gonna worsen my career later down the line. And it's probably a lot of that in college basketball right now.
Because that's their number one job. The number one job is to make sure you're ready to play in the game. Their number one job isn't to make sure that you're healthy or like you're best, doing what's best for you in the long run.
Man, you know what? Y'all just put a hole in a theory that I have. And we talk about like me and Nick, we've been discussing this a lot, and I also kind of want y'all to take on this. But the whole HBCU situation, whether you go there or to a major if you got the chance. And my reasoning for saying, well, you know what, I'm going major, is because of the training staff, and that's what I thought, that the medical staff. Put it that way. And I always thought that like okay,
I give you training staff, not medical staff.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Like Tua Tagovailoa, I don't know if y'all football fans, the quarterback for the Dolphins now, who played at Alabama. He had a bad ankle, broke his ankle some kind of way. They had a procedure, and we can look it up. They had a procedure that only Alabama had at the time, where they did some shit. Anybody else would have been out for the rest of the year. He missed 2 weeks with this procedure. So I'm like, shit, if he had Jackson State, he out.
Right, he out.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all putting a hole in my theory. You saying that these medical staffs or these training staffs ain't all that at these places.
Not that they're like not educated and they know what they're doing, but they don't advocate really for student athletes. So like it's almost like they try to gauge your pain for you, and it's like you can't feel what I feel or what I'm going through. But it's not that they're incompetent. They're not at all. Like they know what they're doing. But like Terry was saying, they feel like they have a job. If the coach says they need you, then they got to make sure that you're ready to go.
But part of your theory is kind of right too, because I do know that high major, they do have more resources that can get you more ready to recovery or to get back faster than a low major.
So is that your experience from being in Northern Arizona? Do you think did you have an experience where you seen that? Or?
Yeah, because I was gonna say even like so when I was leaving out, I actually tore my meniscus, and when I was rehabbing, I was running on an underwater treadmill. I didn't even know that the system.
Wow. Where at Wake Forest?
Yeah. Okay. So they had stuff that it's incredible compared to
Right, so that's what I always said that I go.
So yeah, they can get you ready faster, but there's still the mindset is still the same as far as they gotta get you ready to play a game.
More on them than it is about you.
They just gotta get you ready to play the game.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, even though it's not a good thing, I understand. Like if I was,
I understand too. I understand
it, but for a student athlete, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like you gotta go home and feel bad knowing he probably wasn't ready and I pushed him.
Yeah.
Or no, they just feel like that you need that push. I mean, I literally the last month of my career at BC, I played on a broken foot. I broke my foot, and they knew it, but said because I was walking in fine, they're like, "Oh, you don't need the X-ray, you're fine." I only got the X-ray after the season. And they're like, when did this happen? I told them, they're like, well, you've been playing on a broken foot.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many stories like that I could tell you.
Yeah. You skated away without these injuries?
No, so I actually had some major knee injury, but not to their degree. Like during my senior season at Oklahoma City, my knee actually gave out on me and it blew up. So it was literally like my whole knee was like the size of a basketball. So I literally had to have them stick a needle in it, drain it out. It looked like some light green fluid, like Mountain Dew. And I had so much pain, and I was out for a while too. And I had a stress fracture in my shooting hand because I drove a lot, and I always braced myself falling like that. So it's been times where my hand was hurting so bad, I almost shot the free throw with my left hand just mid-game. Like, so I think a lot of people just go through injuries, and it's
part of life.
That's just how it goes, man. And that's why you see so many people, I think, in the NBA now sitting out, because dudes play with injuries all through the season. It's just some dudes play through it, and then some dudes like, no, it's affecting my numbers. You know what I mean? I want to play at 100%, but it's...
But sitting out is affecting your numbers.
That too.
Do you realize Kawhi Leonard, 2 defensive player of the year, 2 chips, all that? Realize he only got like 11,000 points.
Wow.
That's tough.
He don't play.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
but you play when it matters.
Same thing with Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie only got like 11,000. Before this last season started, he was only like not even 1,000 points in front of Derrick Rose. Dame came in a year or 2 after Kyrie, and he like 4,000 points in front of him. He don't play. So a lot of these new players will not catch them old records and stuff because they don't play.
No, and I mean, like, a lot of dudes injured, and they like, if I'm not 100%, I'm not going. But you know, they pay these dudes so much, it's like I really don't need it.
Right.
And,
Right.
like when I was growing up, 8th grade, you know, I was like, man, I would love to be in the NBA, love to be a collegiate athlete. That was like my goal. I was like, man, that would be the best thing to do in the world. But then when you actually in that situation, college basketball is not as fun as what you think it is. And that's the sad truth. It's like you go from high school to where you kind of do whatever you want to. You got a couple hours of school, you do a couple hours of practice, and then you just spend your day how you want to. Literally from college is 7 o'clock in the morning, waking up to do mandatory like breakfast at 6, 7 o'clock. Then from that, you got weights for 2 hours. You leave weights. Now you got to be in class the rest of the day. Then you find a little time to eat at the cafeteria. Then after that, you got a whole practice after that. Then after that, you got study table after that. Then it's like, all right, I got free time starting at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, but then it's like, man, I got to get up at 6 o'clock. And that's literally almost Monday through Saturday. And it's like, man, like.
So were y'all on scholarships?
Yeah,
like
we all
rides?
did 4 rides.
So how easy is it to get your full ride snatched from you? Whether it's injury, whether it's academically.
I mean, if you do something stupid, there's a chance they'll probably, send you home. But I don't know of a person who got their scholarship took because they weren't productive. Like,
yeah, back then it was really kind of like a 4-year deal. Like once you kind of
even if you're injured, you still got to honor the
now more they're actually more doing it like 1 year. Like if you're not good enough, they will kind of kick, because they're not supposed to really. Just like, it's not like the NBA. They can't trade you or release you.
It's like a bad look, too.
Yeah, they're not
recruits
really
start hearing
supposed
that
to
you're
do
doing that. Like, you don't want recruits to feel like, okay, if I go here and I don't play well, they might not have me back. So you'd have to be, I think, like an idiot or do something really stupid.
Or pretty bad.
Or just like, like it's just too above your level, for you to not come back the next year.
I didn't know that, because you know what, and you all just taught me something, because you know what, when I say you taught me something, because I would say to the Nick, like, you got to do this because they can take the scholarship away from you. But yeah, I guess it's, like you said, it wouldn't look good though.
Every year you sign new paperwork for your scholarship.
Yeah, that's why I say it's different
every
now.
year. Yeah,
it's different.
When I was there, like, all right, come in, sign your scholarship letter, and it's like every year. So it renews kind of like a yearly
Like,
game.
yeah, like a
Yeah, but like how Brittany just said though, it would look bad though, like for future people that come to that school where they felt like, you know, I mean, I'm not saying like you get completely trash. You know, I mean, I understand it. I mean, me as a coach of college, I'd be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, but I mean, if you just not productive, but you still good, but you like, they thought you was gonna score 15 a game, but you scored 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for them to say like, well, that 8 ain't cutting it, get the fuck out and get this other dude. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't look good on the school.
They'll probably just bench you into the point where like you're a real competitor. You like, I'm not playing, I'm a transfer, and that's really what it does. Like, I'm not gonna be practicing just as hard as the dude next to me. He's getting, 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm sitting here catching DMPs, and we doing the same type of work every day. Now I'm leaving.
Right.
And sometimes like what they do now is you keep your scholarship. They just tell you we don't need you on the team anymore. Like
Wow.
some programs they have the funds to be able to, like if you got maybe a year or two, they'll just keep you around, maybe even let you be a manager or whatever. And some people go for that. I mean, they feel like, I don't have a career after this, I want to stay here, get my degree. I hear about that, like, especially on the girls' side a lot.
That's how some of them guys end up on the coaching staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That makes sense, man.
But a lot of players, they gonna beat the coach to the punch anyways. Because if you're not playing, they probably
You
gonna
gotta just
transfer.
get on the
Yeah.
back.
I mean, because to be a Division I athlete, you have to have some type of competitive nature and want to be good and play. So if you get to a situation where you're not playing at all and you like content with that, then I mean, I don't know too many Division I players like that personally.
And also, you just go through too much to not play in the games. Like, and that's why I commend like walk-ons and like players of that nature, because it's like you practice all week and there's no
Getting beat up for
reward.
nothing.
Yeah, there's no reward at the end.
You're a practice player, baby. You helping the stars get
You're
good.
missing all major holidays from your family year after
Like
year.
it's a sacrifice that if you're not playing, it's not worth it. In my opinion.
Man, I didn't go to Thanksgiving for like 5 years in a row. For my house, like I was eating
I never experienced a Thanksgiving.
like hotel food for Thanksgiving. That was what it was, or it was some like terrible people trying to cook some food, and I was like, nah, that ain't how my family.
Because we were right in the season, like we probably got a game the next day.
Tournaments and everything.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving time, man.
Yeah. Well, you playing a Thanksgiving tournament.
Right, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So where you coaching in that, man?
Evanston Township.
Okay. Head coach?
Head coach. 7 years in.
Okay. How's the program? Talk about your program.
We've been good. I was lucky when I came in. I think we were ranked like top 5 that year. So typically, when you take over a program, you got to rebuild it. So we were able to start fresh with a great team. We've had 7 Division I kids in 7 years. Been close to getting downstate. Evanston's never won a state championship in girls basketball. That's kind of like our number 1 goal right now. And we just started a feeder program, so that goes down to 3rd grade. We're just trying to build, something special in E-Town.
So what you looking like coming up this year?
We're young, so we're really young. But we got kids that really love the game, that work hard. So I'm excited, because our talent isn't what it's always been, but we've never had kids that are like this dedicated, and that's fun to coach too.
I want to hear about the USA experience.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, what's that? What's that about?
So I just got back from the World Championships in Hungary. I coached with the 17 year. So they just started their junior development national teams. So
Coach.
Right.
You ain't playing. Okay.
I was very lucky. So.
Doing that thing. Absolutely.
Man, that's what's up. That's dope. So we gotta go check some Evanston games out this year.
Don't have to.
For sure. We try to play at least 1 game in the city. So last year we played at Simeon, which was actually a triple overtime game, which was good. And then this year we're coming to Marshall.
So who's like the cream of the crop on girls basketball in Chicago here?
Whitney Young. Yep. And they have a great program. They've had a great program for 30 years. And they arguably are probably number 1 team in the state this year.
Okay.
How you like the Simeon gym?
let's just say they need to do something about that.
But I think
It's
walking,
not up to par.
but I think
Oh,
walking
it's
in,
one of the worst gyms I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The lights didn't work, the scoreboard didn't work, it kept going. They had to bring like one of the portable scoreboards that you couldn't even see when you were coaching.
So I thought like Rose and them that donated money to just to the school itself, or I mean,
they got a new, they built a new school, but I think cause it's like, all CPS gyms are pretty bad, and they're not as worse as like.
No, but they're the
They're
worst,
not as bad.
hands down. It was the worst gym I've ever seen. No, like it was the absolute. I almost wanted to write a letter, like to say, Simeon is one of the top national programs. You know, no way they don't even play home games because their gym is so bad.
Wow.
That's something
That's what I ain't know that.
Yeah, I ain't
I
know.
It
would've
was only
okay.
one working light, and it was the one at center court.
Wow.
Was y'all
pretty dark.
was y'all household competitive?
For sure.
Extremely. I mean, if we play,
It's only the three of y'all.
man, yeah, if it's basketball, who can run and get in the car first, everything is competition. But I mean, that's why we were all Division I athletes, man. We always had big shoes to fill, you know. I always had to fill Brittanny's shoes playing ACC, you know, big time tournaments, you know, and then me going to Division I, you know, Torry was trying to fill my shoes, and I think that always just kept us honest.
Y'all dad played somewhere too, right?
Yeah,
He
so.
played the D3 ball at
He was the worst of all.
Wow.
I think I'm actually the only one.
So
that's
he
ever
was
beat him.
LeVar Ball.
Still is. But he would do it for everybody. Like I feel like we have so many just like adopted brothers and like sisters, people that he like poured into and tried to help, and like our, even though it's just us three, it's so many more just kids that he's helped and, you know, been there for. So
I learned a lot from you all's father as far as how to put my kids in sports and how sports guided you all's life and kept you all out of trouble and kept you all competitive and just good overall people. I've seen that within you all from how he coached you all, how he was as a dad, and it just made me, like with Nick, with Jada, we always wanted to keep Jada in something. Even though she didn't want to do shit, we wanted to keep her in something because we seen how it impacted you all's life, how it molded you all into the people that you all are today. So I learned a lot from your father from that standpoint, and a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah.
But just seeing how he was on you all, but he still showed you all love. It wasn't like, I'm just a coach, you know what I'm saying? He was a coach, but he also showed that he loved you all in the same light, you know what I'm saying? So it was like I said, once again, like I learned how to be a father in that aspect from him. You know what I'm saying? He taught me a lot. You know, and that's why I said, that's why I am what I am with Nick. And, you know, Jada now, she doesn't play any type of sport now, but when she was cheerleading and softball, I made sure that I coached, not cheerleading, but with softball, because I just wanted to be in her life, you know, so I wanted to be, you know, and show her that regardless of what she was doing, I wanted to be there for her like he was for you all. So yeah, it's a shout out to Terry, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, your son said he was the worst basketball player.
So y'all didn't play nothing else? Basketball was the main sport
You
now?
played football.
Yeah, so I was going to pursue football more. I was pretty good in 8th grade. I actually had like high school coaches in football that was recruiting me. But I kind of got to a crossroad that my mother kind of, I guess, said like I had to choose because I was playing basketball. Like it's a year-round sport if you want to be good, because you got to play AAU, you got to play obviously fall, winter, and start up in spring. So it's a year-round sport. So I had to mostly choose, but I probably could have been pretty good at football.
He's pretty good. I said
Receiver.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I had good hands, good instincts.
The business, motherfucker.